What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from Scalar Learning, and today we are tackling ISEE level math. We're doing the ISEE middle level quantitative reasoning, and we're doing the entire practice test from ISEEpracticetest.com, which is made by Test Innovators, an incredible resource, the resource that I use all the time in my test prep, and that has done incredibly well and made many of my students very, very successful on the actual middle level ISEE. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this in real time today. I got it queued up. Now, these tests I'm familiar with. The goal of these is usually to show you what it's like to solve it in real time for the first time, but I have seen this test and I reviewed it. I haven't gone through the entire test like this in its entirety, but it'll be somewhat of an authentic experience for the most part because I'd say I'm probably really familiar with maybe a third of them, because those are the ones that my students will frequently get wrong and I'll have to go through them carefully. But the rest, it'll feel like an authentic experience. And anyways, if you are taking these tests, this is meant to be an explanation for you to watch after the fact, after you take the test. And then you can see my methodologies and strategies and how to do these things in the most effective and efficient manner possible. All right, here we go. We're going to start. We're going to take it in timed manner online. Whoops. We're going to start in 35 minutes. 3, 2, 1, begin. All right, Brian got an average score of 84 on 2 tests. What is combined of both tests? Well, what we do is multiply that by 2 times 84, which of course is 168, because those are the averages of each, or the averages of both, excuse me, so the totals must be 168. Next. Tim had a total of 39 points on his 2 math tests. He scored twice as many on the first as he did on the second test. So we can say the first test is twice as many as the second test. And these two added together, see how I'm turning this into an equation, added together give me a total of 39. What did he get on each test? All we have to do now is solve for x. 2x plus 3x, 2x plus x is 3x. Divide both sides by 3, basic variable isolation, right? Opposite of multiplication, and we get x equals 13. So one test here, we got 13. This one needed 2 times 13, which is 26. So the first test is the higher one, and the second test is the lower one. The following graph shows Tom's height for the years of blank. During which year did Tom's height most increase? I can already see it looks like it increased most from here to here. Right? It's the steepest incline, and that's year from 1994 to 1995. And I'm just going to roll with that. All right, that's all we're looking for is the biggest change. Next. When a number n is divided by 4, the remainder is 3. Okay, well, it's a little different. The remainder is 3. Which of the following could be the value of n? Now, for something like this, we could literally say, okay, well, let's try 7 divided by 4, and what happens? It's 1 times 4, and we actually do get a remainder of 3. The other way to think about it is any number you're going to get a remainder of 3 is going to be 3 greater than 4, and that's it. So 10 is 3 greater than a multiple of 4. 10 is only 2 greater than 8. 18 is only 2 greater than 16. 25 is only 1 greater than 24. So 25, you get a remainder of 1. A rectangle A measures, immediately we see rectangle, we're going to draw it a rectangle 25 by 10. Rectangle B measures 15 by 5. What is the difference between the perimeter of A and B? A would be, right? It's a rectangle, so the opposite sides are equal. A would be 50, 60, 70. B would be 30, 40. And the difference of the two is 30. Next. Allie has 5 rap albums and 20 rock albums. And 20 rock. What percentage of Allie's music collection is rock? So percentage would be 20 out of the total 25 equals what percent? This is the percent proportion equals what percent out of 100. First, I'm going to reduce this fraction, divide top and bottom by 5. We get 4/5. Then I'm going to cross multiply, and I get 5x equals 400. We divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 20. Not 20. 80. Excuse me. So 80% of that collection is rock. Okay, next. All right, we got 2 equations with the value d minus e. So let's solve for d first. Isolate, right? I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get 2d equals 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2. D equals 4. And then what about E? We use the second equation, 3E plus 1 equals 7. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides to isolate. 3E equals 6. Divide both sides by 3. And I get E equals 2. So what is 4 minus 2 is just 2. D minus E. Next. The net shown can be used to construct a polyhedron. Which polyhedron can be formed by folding the net? It's going to be... So it's like basically this side and this side fold up, and so does this. So it's going to be a what's it called? A rectangular pyramid, which it looks like B is probably the best one because it all forms a point at the top. Hold on, let's see. It could also be D, but D looks like it has a square base, and this looks like a rectangular base. So I'm going with B. Next. The area of the larger, the area of the larger triangle is 96 centimeters. What is the area of the shaded region? Very simply, I can tell that it's split up into 1, 2, 3, 4. So 96, and this is 1 out of 4. So it's 1/4 of 96, which is basically 96 divided by 4, which is 24. All right, who won the median number of prizes awarded? So check this out. We're gonna rank to find the median. We're gonna rank it from smallest to biggest. So we got somebody won 2, somebody won 3, somebody won 4, somebody won 5, somebody won 6. The median is that middle value, which is 4. Who won 4? That would be Marina. That's median. When you hear median, think middle. Okay, next. Without any overlap, how many rectangles with an area of 6 inches squared fit inside a rectangle that's 8 by 9? So to do this, we say, all right, it's 8 by 9. We got a total of, to get the area of the big rectangle, it's a total of 8 times 9, which is 72. And we want to see how many times we can divide it up into 6 little square units, aka this is a division problem. 72 divided by 6, which is 12. 12 is our answer, right? It's because 6 times 12 is 72. Next. All right, volume problem. 2 cubes are shown. Cube A is side length 2, and that has 4. How many cubes can fit inside a cube B? Again, when we're fitting inside, we're thinking volume. We're saying, what's the total volume of this divided by the total volume of that? So the volume of B is length times width times height. The volume of A is the same thing, length times width, times height. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And then we do 64 divided by 8, and of course, that is just 8, right? Because 8 times 8 is 64. Next, Bob's Pizzeria charges $8 per pizza with a $10 sales tax, 10% sales tax, and a delivery fee. Okay, what does Bob charge for a delivery fee? So look, we have all the components, we just don't know the delivery fee. So 4 pizzas, and we only need one of these columns, by the way, or rows. So we have $4. We have $8 per pizza times 4, which is 32. And then we have a 10% sales tax, 10% of 32. A quick way to take 10% of anything is you move the decimal over once, or you multiply it by 0.1. But basically, it's 3.2 or 320. So these guys added together, we get 35.20. And then the delivery fee is whatever extra we have to pay to get to 37.70, which of course we can subtract it from 37.70. But I can see that if we just add 250 to this, it gives me that 37.70. So I'm rolling with a delivery fee of 250. And you could try with another option just to verify that you got the right answer, but you don't need to. Okay, next. Nia tells her class by starting pay it forward, she will do 5 nice things for other people on day 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on day 2, those people on day 2 to do something for 5 new people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So you see that like on day 1 she's helping 5 people. And then on day 2, those 5 people are helping 25 because each of them are helping 5. So 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay? And day 3, those guys would each helping 5 people, 125, and so on. After 4 days, which expression represents the number of people who have participated? We got to include the 1 because we got to start with Nia. So it's Nia, okay, and then this is day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. Because each time we're multiplying by another 5. So again, if it's 25, that's just 5 squared. 125 is 5 cubed, 5 times 5 times 5. Then the 5 to the 4th is that day 4. And that's it. Okay, next. Savannah has taken these tests, blah, blah, blah. The scores here on 4 tests shown below. If the mean, median, and range of the 4 tests are calculated, which statement is true? Hold on. The range of English. Let me just do range of each really quick. That's easy to calculate. That's 4. And that's 3. Oh, sorry. It's not 4. What am I talking about? It's 78 to 88, which is 10. This is 76 to 88, which is 12. Worry about the other value. Other values are a little longer. Okay, the range of our English test is less than the range of our English is. Which one is true or not true? A statement is true. This is it. Range of English is less than math. This takes longer to calculate. I'm so glad that this is right. Equal. Hold on. The median of this is. I'm just verifying. The median of our English is 83, and then the median of math, it's the middle value. We have to take the average of the two middle terms because it's an odd number. The median of this is 84. They're not equal. The median of the math is less. Median of math is 84. Median of English is 83. So it's wrong. Yeah, it's definitely A. I'm going to go on to the next one, 16. Gina makes a list of 5 numbers with a mean value of 6. Okay, this will explain mean. Okay, so whatever. The 5 numbers added up, divided by 5 gives a mean of 6. So this value actually up top equals 30. Because if I multiply both sides by 5, I'd say, oh, they total up to 30. Then if I add a 6 number, I'm just going to call it x again. That number doubles the average. Now we're dividing by 6 because now we got 30 plus a new term, so it's 6. And now the average is doubled to 12. What is the 6 number she adds? Solve for x. First, I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. That cancels that out. We got 30 plus x. 12 times 6 is 72. Subtract 30. Subtract 30. And we got x equals 42. Okay, next is 17. The graph below shows the relationship between a grade earned on a test and time spent studying. Using line of best fit, what is the best estimate of the grade she earned when a student spends 40 minutes studying for the test? Right here. Don't use these data points. This is how they try and get you every time. These data points are there to confuse you. This is my line of best fit. That's where it intersects, right around 77. A little above 75, but below 80. The balance in a bank account has increased by 150% to 1,200. Okay. So the balance of a bank account has increased by 150%. That means we have to take 1.5 or 150% of the account, add it to the original count, and we get 1,200. What was the original bank account balance, which was the x? Okay. Which we can add these guys. X plus 1.5x is 2.5x equals 1,200. And then to isolate, we divide both sides by 2.5. X equals, move it over, 0. 25 goes into 124 times. 20 goes into 208 times. And then it's just 0. So it's 480. Okay, next. Arya brings 3 72-ounce bottles of juice for her class party. Okay, Lamar, so 3 72-ounce, so that's 216 ounces total. Lamar drinks 1/6, Kimberly drinks 1/8, and Greg drinks 1/4. How many total ounces of juice are left? So we have to figure out how much this is with common denominators. I'm going to use 24, so that's 4. Multiply this by 4 and 4, 3 and 3, 6 and 6. So that's 4 24ths plus 3 24ths plus 6 24ths, which is 713. So the amount left is 11 24ths, right? This is what's taken, and then the amount remaining is 11 24ths, and we need to take 11 24ths of 216, okay? That's how we take a fraction of something. We multiply on 24, go in 10, 9. It goes in 9 times, so that reduces to 1 and 9, dividing both of these by 24, and then 9 times 11 is 99. Does that make sense? Yes. Numero 20, we are more than halfway through. If j is a factor of 8 and k is a factor of 12, j is a factor, what is the least number which must be divisible by both j and k? Okay. J is a factor of 8, so j could be 1, 2, 4, or 8. K could be 6. Sorry. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. What is the least number which must be divisible by both? Hold on, let me think. J is a factor of, okay, so 2. Oh, I got it. This could be 8, and this could be 12. Okay, we don't know, but that's the biggest it could be. And so we have to assume that 8 and 12 could be the factors that we're talking about. We don't know. It also could be 1 and 1, but we don't know what j and k are. So this could be, I'm going to make j and k my biggest, most complex numbers possible. So if that's the case and that's the case, what's the smallest number that's divisible by both of these? It's 24. Next, all right, now we're in the quantitative comparisons. 4 squared is 16. 2 to the 4th actually is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's how we do exponents, which is 16. They are equal. Okay. Next, Dan scored 8 teams for his basketball, 8 points. The team won with 28. Tyler scored 25 points, 25%. So first of all, how do we do, so column A is Dan. That's easy. Column B is that. How do we take 25% of 28, okay? Turn 25% into its decimal equivalent. This is how you do it. You just move the decimal over once, twice. So it's 0.25 times the total, which is 28. 5 times 8 is 40, 10, 14, 0, 16. Carry the 1, 4, 5, 0, and 7. 2 numbers to the right of decimal, so we move 1, 2. And it's B is 7, so A is bigger. Next. X is greater than or equal to 10, y is greater than or equal to 10. This makes no sense because x can be any number greater than 10, so could y. X could be 12, y could be 11. X could be 15, y could be 1,000,000. So we can go either A is bigger or B is bigger. Whenever we have 2 answers that work, not enough information. All right, B is straightforward and it's just 7. A is, this is how you evaluate something like this. We evaluate inside first. 4 squared is 16, that's 4 times 4. 3 squared is 9. Then we add these together, that's 25. Then we take the square root of 25. Square root of 25 asks what number times itself equals 25, which is 5. 7 is bigger. Next is this. Area of rectangle in figure 1. We don't have enough information. I have no idea. I don't know what length this side is. Yeah, figure 1 looks bigger, but it might not be drawn to scale. I mean, this could be 12 by 5, and this could be 14 by 6 for all I know. So without any further information, I'm saying, hey, I need to know the length and width, otherwise I can't do this. Definitely not enough information. Jackson wants to estimate how many boys and girls in 8th grade have seen a movie. The table shows the percent of 8th grade boys and girls were surveyed. All right, so this means not everybody was surveyed. So just 70% were surveyed, they got this number. 50% were surveyed, got this number. Okay. The estimated total number of boys who have seen the movie. Total number of boys who have seen the movie. So if we got 70%, okay, I'm going to show you how to do this with the bar model. Actually, no, let's do it. 42 out of the total that have seen it equals 70 out of 100. Let's just use the percent proportion. So 42 is 70. Therefore, if we cross multiply, it's eliminated 7 over 10. So cross multiply 7x equals 10 times 42 is 420. Divide by 7, divide by 7. 420 divided by 7 is actually 60. So column A is 60. Again, it's an estimate because we don't know, but this is a prediction. And then again, 29, let's go to B. 29 over x, whatever the number of girls is, equals 50 out of 100. And again, we can solve this. I can eliminate this to 1/2, 50 over 100. Cross multiply 1x times 29 times 2, x equals 58. So the number of girls is 58, which is smaller. So A is our answer. Okay. The original price, let me see the time, 16 minutes. The original price of a bike was $200. During a sale, the price was reduced by 15, then again by 25%. Okay. So B is 130. So if we reduce that by 15%, first of all, it's taking away 15%, so it's down to 85%. So we're taking 85% of 200, okay? That's my shortcut, 0, 0, 10, 0, 16, and we get 0, 0. So it's down, and then 2 numbers to the right of the decimal, so we go 1, 2, boom. So it's 170, and then we reduce it again by 25%. Well, we take 25% away, we have 75% left, so I'm going to take 75% of this, 0, 5, 6, that's 35 carry, oh, sorry, oops. 35 carry a 3, excuse me, 8, 0, 9, 7, 11. And then it's 0, 5, 17, carry the 1, 2, 1. 127.50. So A is actually cheaper, therefore B is bigger. A deck of cards contains 15 cards labeled 1 through 15. Card is randomly selected. Probability of the card selected is a prime number. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is how I do it, right? I don't mess around. I put everything out there. So let's say the probability that the number is prime. Basically, which one has more? Well, I got 1 prime, 2 primes, 3 primes, 4. A prime is a number that can only be divided by itself and 1. Prime, prime. Okay. Now let's circle all the evens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So I got 7 evens, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 primes. Primes is less, evens is more, and done. Sure I didn't miss any primes. Yeah. Okay, Paula rides her bike 6 miles on Tuesday. Jamal rides his bike half the amount as Paula and travels. So Paula rides 6 miles on Tuesday. Jamal rides his bike half the amount of time, but travels 2/3. 2/3 of 6. 2/3 of, remember, we just multiply and calculate it 4 times. Sorry, that's the answer. I just 2 times 6 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. So Jamal goes 4 miles, okay? Not that that's the answer yet. And we want to know the speed. So she goes, let's pretend it's an hour, okay? So she goes 6 miles per hour. They didn't give it to us, it doesn't matter, because we just know that he goes half as long. So he goes 4 miles in 30 minutes, which means he goes 8 miles in an hour. Because if I double both, right? So Jamal's average speed is obviously faster, right? He's going 8 miles per hour, she's going 6 miles per hour, so I'm saying B. Area of the shaded region, area of unshaded region. I can tell you unshaded is bigger. Here's why. If I could draw on this, let's see if it doesn't always work exactly when I try and draw on this because I'm zoomed in. Yeah, it comes over there. Let's see if I can get it. Okay. I got it. There we go. If I could draw that and then draw this. What you can see is I've made 2 equal triangles now, right? Like this white triangle is equal to the shaded, this white triangle is equal to the shaded, and then we have a whole unshaded strip that's extra. That's how you break a problem like this down, and when you break it down like that, you can see that the unshaded is slightly bigger, therefore I'm going with B. Okay, in the diagram above, all angles that appear to be right are right. The distance traveled from point A to point B through X. From A to B through X. Okay, so you go up 7. Hold on. We go 7. We go across 10. It doesn't, I'll deal with this dip in a second. Or do I need to? Yeah. We go across a total of 10, even though there's a little break. 10. And then how far is this dip? Well, I know that this total going up is 7. And this going up 4 and 2 is 6. So it's like it's like 6 less than 7, which is 1, right? Because going up 4, 2, and obviously this last distance is 1 to get up to 7. That's equal to this side. So I'm saying 1, which means A is a total of 18. The distance traveled from point A to B through Y. Got it. So 6, then up 4, then across 4, and then up 2. 14, 16. So A is bigger. All right, absolute value, we've got 2 times absolute value is the positive purifier. Absolute value of -7 is 7, minus 2 times absolute value of 4 is just 4. 2 times 7 is 14, minus 8 is 6. And then B, first we do this, we don't make everything positive. We first combine these. -7 minus 4 is -11. Then absolute value of -11 is 11. 2 times 11 is 22. So B is way bigger. Not even close. Okay, Ben has exactly 29 pounds of weights that weigh 3, 5, and 8. The largest number of weights that Ben could have, so B is 9. The largest number, that means I want the most 3-pound weights possible. Okay. So I could have, let's see. So if I had, hold on. Could I have 8 of these and then 1 5? Because then that's 24 plus 5 is 29. The only question I have on this is, do we assume that he has to have at least 1 8-pound weight? It doesn't say that, so I'm going to go with C. But in the assumption that he has to have 1 8, then it would be like 8, 13, 8, 18, 23. So it'd be like 3 of these, 1 of these, 15, 24. No, sorry. 23, sorry, and then 2 of these, then it'd be 6. That's assuming he has to have 1 8, but it doesn't say that. So I'm saying C, if we have no 8-pound weights and we just have 8 3-pounders and 1 5-pounder, that's 24 plus 5 is 29. So I think that's right. Let's just see if they make that distinction. I think it would be a bad question if they do, because they should say he must have at least 1 of each, but they didn't. So that's my assumption. The spinner is divided in 3 sections. The spinner spun twice. Okay, the product of the 2 numbers is recorded. The probability of the product of the 2 numbers is even. Okay, so we can either get 2 times 7, right? 2 times 5, 2 times 2, or 5 times 7, or 5 times 5, or 5 times 2. Or we can get, 7 times 5, 7 times 7, or 7 times 2. Okay. So these are my 9 different outcomes, right? I can get 1 number the first time, 1 number the second time. So this is like if I get 1, this is like if I get 1 the first time, 1 of these the second time. You see? And now, like, so there's 9 different outcomes for products. I mean, not really, because there's overlap, right? 2, 5, and 5, 2, but we can just keep it like this. So let's assume these are all 9 unique things, and then probability that the product is even. So let's circle all the even ones. These are all even because they're all multiplied by 2. This is even multiplied by 2, and this is even multiplied by 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 out of 9 even, and the probability that it's odd is these remaining, because there's 2 odds multiplied to give you an odd. So this is 4 out of 9. So I'm saying my probability is greater that we get an even. And that's interesting, because I think you would think the opposite, because there's more odds than evens. You just got to map it out like that. And you can map it out quickly. Okay. I don't think we have enough information here because x could be 6 by the basic rules of a triangle. It can't be it could be 5. It can't be 5 actually. Sorry. These two sides have to add up to something greater than 10. So x could be 6. 5 and 6, and we don't know that's a right angle. It looks like a right angle, but we don't know that, so we can't assume that. And x can't be bigger than 15. It can't be 15 or larger. So the biggest it could be is 15. So we already know it can be less than 7 or it could be greater than 7. So in that case, again, we've gotten 2 different answers. So D, not enough information. 2 questions left. All right, how do we get slope from 2 coordinates? This is how you do it. First of all, we're going to stack the coordinates. This is my method, 3, 2. And then we're taking the difference of the y values, which comes second, over the difference of the x values. So I put them like this, and I stack them and subtract down so I don't mix up the order. So the difference of the y's on top, 5 minus 2, over the difference of the x's, 6 minus 3, which is 3 over 3, which is a slope of 1 for A. Now, what's the slope of B? For B, we got to get it into slope-intercept form, which means we isolate the y. Now, right off the bat, I don't like the y being on the right side, so I'm just going to move things and not really change anything, but just put that, like flip-flop it. And we're allowed to do that by the reflexive property. Then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. I get negative 3y equals negative 3x minus 3. Last, I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. And I get, let's do it in red, y equals negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. Negatives cancel out. I'll put a 1x plus negative 3 over negative 3 is 1. Now, what is the slope of this line? Well, from the equation, now it's in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m, whatever's multiplying the x, is the slope. And in this case, it's 1. So the slope is also 1, which means these guys are equal. Okay, Joff likes to have variety in his breakfast options and switches between cereal days and toast days. On cereal days, he chooses from 4 different types of yogurt, 3 types of cereal, and 2 types of fruit. On toast days, he chooses 4 types of bread and 6 types of spread. The number of different cereal breakfasts he can make with 1 yogurt, 1 cereal, and 1 fruit. Something like this, to get the total, all we do is we say 4 times 3 times 2. That's it. Okay? 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. We take the total number of options for each individually and multiply them together. And the number of different toasts he can make with 1 bread and 1 spread. Again, same deal. The total times the total. So 4 times 6, which is 24. So he has equal number of options for both. So let's see. We got 3.5 minutes left. Now, normally with 3.5 minutes, I would say, hey, you got to go back and check your work. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes. Redo problems that you starred. So you should star problems along the way. We're not going to do that here. We're just going to go ahead and see what we got. And if there are any mistakes, I will, of course, review them right now. Okay. All right, cool. So everything was correct. I think that one question where I felt like, what was the one? I had to make an assumption. Oh yeah, with the 3, 5, and 8 pound weights, I had to make the assumption that, which made sense to me. That it made sense. It should have been right. Where it doesn't say we have to have at least 1 8 pounder, but that was the only one that was a little bit ambiguous and vague. I trusted my gut and it was correct. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for joining. And listen, if you are prepping for this middle level ISEE, it's a brutal test, and especially for kids in middle school, it's just the math is above where really any kid's supposed to be if you're taking it in 6th grade. So do your prep work, study the math, learn the math. A lot of people will overemphasize the idea of, hey, you want to master the test. You want to get the strategies. Well, guess what? It's a math test. You got to learn the math, and then there's strategies within the math and within the topics. But you've got to take, I really, really believe you must take a tactical approach that's substantive, that is not glossing over the meat of the area. And do your practice on the verbal side too. You can raise those scores, learn words. And just an FYI, if you are going to take the ISEE this coming up, I really recommend an intense study period of a good 3 months minimum. So like over summer, 3 months will work, but it's got to be intense. You got to be at it and on it. Find a good tutor, find somebody who you vibe with, and check out this program. I have an ISEE practice course as well, just for the math. You can check it in the link below. I have around 650 practice problems that are amazing, and video lectures, tutorials as well, and content explanations that explain the core concepts of each question type. Last but not least, we have a question for June 1st. Can you make one of these days prep doing an entire reading section? I'm probably going to stick to math for this week coming up, but I'll see what I can do. All right, let me think about it. I know people have been asking me for verbal help. Thank you guys so much. For everybody who is taking the ISEE coming up, I wish you the best of luck. And please like this video if you did like it and you're watching now. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.